Let's have the introduction. Cybersecurity today extend beyond technology to legal, ethical, and governance aspect. Understanding the regulations such as the GDPR and HIPAA along with the ethical hacking is essential for compliance and security. So, etong di-discuss natin ngayon, we're going to compare this in the Philippines. Kasi itong GDPR tapos HAPAA, in the previous discussion, actually yung in-upload ko kahapon, we also have this discussion. But here, in this short discussion that we're going to have now, is the highlight of what is GDPR and what is HAPAA or HIPAA regulation. Okay. The key principle of GDPR or the general data protection is the local fairness, transparency, purpose limitation, data minimization, accuracy, storage limitation, integrity, and confidentiality. It requires the consent, data right, breach notification, and DPO. So yung binabanggit natin dito is GDPR. Pero yung GDPR, wala naman tayo niyan sa Pilipinas. Actually, hindi ito applied sa atin as Filipino citizen. This is for the citizen of EU. So, ito yung history niya. Became effective in May 2018. Sabi niya dito, the European Union, so yung European Union is a group of countries that govern how organization collect, process, store, and protect the personal data of individual within the EU and the EU economic area. So kung i-compare natin kung sa atin, sa Pilipinas, ito yung sinasabi natin na ASEAN. Okay, bakit ito na-merge yung ASEAN? Kasi this ASEAN group of countries, sila yung nag-share economically. So may mga treaty sila, may mga coordination with each other. So ganun din yung EU. So with that, ito naman na GDPR, ito yung protection ng mga tao with regards sa data privacy. It's applied to any organization within or outside EU that process personal data of individual in the EU. So yung pinoprotektahan niya, yung mga tao sa loob ng mga citizen ng EU. So ibig sabihin kahit sa ibang bansa yun nangyari pero citizen siya ng EU, so covered siya ng GDPR. So pwedeng kasuhan yung IT company na may violation. Ano yung nasa loob ng GDPR? Data subject rights. So the GDPR enhance individual control over personal data by granting the following right. Ano yung mga rights na yon? Right to access. Individual can request access to their data. Right to rectify, mag-correct ng maling data na tungkol sa kanya. Halimbawa, sinabi doon na siya ay may sakit o kaya sinabi doon na mali yung pangalan niya or any relevant data about sa kanya. So, pwedeng i-rectify. Right to erasure, right to be forgotten, request delete of personal data. Mas baka dito request delete, madidelete yung as a person. No, ang minimin dito is the electronic data o yung mga nakasave na data. Okay, ayaw ko na ano yan, nakasave yun dyan yung pangalan ko. So, right to erasure. Next is right to restrict processing, limit how data is used. Kung magbibigay ako ng pangalan ko, di ba, naalala ninyo sa thesis ninyo, di ba, meron kayong ganyan na papipirmahin nyo. O, eto, mag-interview ako, pero yung makukuha kong data dito within my interview is only until the limit of the study. So, hindi nyo siya pwedeng ibigay sa ibang tao for another study. Okay? Next is right to data portability, transfer data to another provider. Next is right to object, oppose certain types of data processing. For example, marketing. Kung mo, ginagamit yung data mo for certain data mining for marketing. Okay, etc. Right to relate to automated decision-making and profiling. Okay, obligation of the organization. Consent must be fairly given, specific, informed, and unambiguous. Data protection officer or the DPO must be appointed in a certain cases. So, per organization, may tinatawag na DPO. Siya yung assign na mag-handle ng data protection. So, in the other hand, kung meron ng problem, siya din po yung hahabulin. may binigay niya yung data or hindi niya pinanatahan yung data. Next is the Data Protection Impact Assessment. So DPAIAs are required for high-risk processing. Next is the breach notification, that if ever the data has been breached or may nakuha yung data na yon ng mga tao, so must be notified the authorities within 72 hours of discovering a data breach. Within 72 hours. Pag lumampas ng 72 hours, so it's now a violation. Privacy by design in default. Data protection must be integrated in the practicing from the outset. So, ibig sabihin, ginagawa pa lang, yung system, kinocode pa lang, pinaprocess pa lang, dapat nasa isip na palagi yung privacy. So, violation, penalty for non-compliance. So, pag hindi nagawa itong mga obligation na ito, mayroong penalty na 4% or 20 million or 4% of annual global turnover, whichever is higher for the serious violation. Lesser breach can incur fine up to 10 million or 2% of the annual turnover. So let's go now to a real-world cases ng violation ng GDPR. So the biggest GDPR fines of 2020. So, we have here, so kilala natin si Meta, di ba? Siya yung Instagram natin. Siya yung may gawa ng Instagram, Messenger, Facebook. So, here, Meta GDPR fines of 1.2 billion. Tingnan natin. 1.2 billion kung hindi natin backtrack. 1.2 billion in May 2023, in a groundbreaking decision in the past 5 years of GDPR enforcement, the Irish Data Protection Commission imposed a historic fine of 1.2 billion on US tech giant Meta. This record-breaking fine was issued for transferring personal data. So ito yung real example, yung sabi natin kanina, GDPR is for EU citizen, di ba? Data of European user to United States without adequate data protection mechanism and serve as a significant milestone in data protection regulation. So, nangyari sa US, pero ang involved is an EU user. Yeah. Kaya, covered siya ng GDPR. Next is Amazon GDPR fines of 742 million. So, in July 16, 2021, Luxembourg's National Commission for Data Protection, or CNDP, issued a fine amounting to or $888 million to Amazon.com. Another violations. Yan, sino sa inyo, mga TikTok user? So, alam ko, lumabas na to marami na nagsasabi na kaya alam naman natin, kaso kumbaga, we just take the risk. Yan. Yung TikTok is facing substantial fine of 345 million to violation of GDPR within a specific focus on its handling children account. So the Irish Data Protection Commission concluded its investigation in September 2023, examining TikTok data practices between July 31 and December 31, 2020, particularly concerning young users. So here, in the protection of children na hindi pa pwede na gumamit ng mga ganitong account. So this violation by TikTok. So meron silang fine. Okay. So dahil nga sabi natin kanina, these are not we are not covered with it. This is only for EU citizen, hindi naman ito Pilipino tayo. I don't know pala, baka may hindi Pilipino sa inyo. Okay? So with that, for the Philippines, we have equivalent. So wala tayong eksaktong GDPR. What we have is just an equivalent. So ito yung Data Privacy Act. So na-discuss ko na rin ito kahapon dun sa online recording. Ayan. Panoorin nyo para makita nyo din and you can answer the quiz properly. Okay, unang-una, yan. Sa atin, yan lang ang natin. is the Data Privacy Act in the Philippines. Ano yung enforcement body? Sa atin, NPC, National Privacy Commission. At applies, GDPR is for AU, and for us, all entities handling personal data in the Philippines. Territorial scope, yan, global reach. Ito, national for DPA, Data Privacy Act. National Limited Extraterritorial Reach. Sabihin, buong Pilipinas pero limited sa labas. Consent, explicit and informed. For the DPA, informed with emphasis on legitimate purpose. Yung kaya, di ba, pag nagpapaperma kayo with legitimate purpose, kung pwedeng gamitin yung data, yung survey, yung questionnaire, pero lalagay natin anong purpose. At dun lamang sa purpose na yun, pwedeng gamitin. Next is the data subject right. Yan, similar. Breach notification, mandatory 72 hours. Sabi dito, for the DPA, mandatory without undue delay. Medyo wala masyadong sinabi kung oras, ganyan. Pero yan kasi yung nakasulat for now. Imagine this is 2012. Ilang more than a decade na. Penalties, ayan. So, alam na natin ito kanina. And ito, for DPA, fine, imprisonment, or both. Okay. For what I know before, it is 5,000 per per user na exploit. Kung meron kang, meron kang website, ang nag-register sa'yo ay 1,000, at na-exploit lahat yon, so 1,000 times 5,000. So, pag hindi mo yan na-protektahan, let's say, 5,000 times 1,000 na user, so you will have a fine of 5 million pesos. Imagine that. Yung responsibility, akala natin, pag gumawa tayo ng website, okay na. Naka-encourage na tayo ng user, kumikita na, okay na. Pero pag hindi pala natin na-implement yung mga tamang policy, tapos nagkaroon ng breach, so you will be imprisoned and pay the fines. Okay? So, nilagay ko lang that it is similar with the DPA. Okay, let's go now to HIPAA, Purpose and Key Purposes. Yung HIPAA naman, ito naman ay, so na-discuss ko rin ito kahapon, this is for US health data. So, and key rules, it's a privacy rules, security rules, and breach notification rules. And, yan. So, ilagay natin ng emphasis dito. Yung HIPAA, mamaya, meron tayo ulit comparison. But then, if going to see, hindi siya, parehas lang, DPA pa din yung applicable na katumbas na regulation for the Philippines. Pero kasi ito, sa ibang bansa kasi, or sa US actually, sa US ito, lahat ng yung importante sa kanila yung health record that is required kasi meron silang health insurances. Yung health insurance, pag papasok ka ng trabaho, bibigyan ka ng health insurance. So, dapat tama yung health record mo. Or else naman, pag mali yung health record mo, mag-i-impact yun sa pag ikaw naman ay kukuha ng health insurance. Or pag mag-a-avail ka naman ng health insurance. So, on the other hand, siya, double-sided sword. So, pag kukuha ka ng insurance, kailangan ma-prove na meron kang sakit. So, dapat tama yung record mo. Or on the other hand, pag ka naman, kukuha ka ng policy, yung tinatawag natin ng mga insurance policy, kailangan mag-appear doon. Usually, gusto natin na makakuha ng policy, dapat mag-appear doon na wala kang sakit para bigyan ka nila ng policy. Kasi baka ginagamit mo lang din yung insurance para makakuha ka ng pera. So, siya, double-sided, protection of the insurance company and then protection of the person getting insured na yung data niya din kasi ibinibigay doon sa insurance company. And then kasama dito yung pag-carry over ng health insurance. Halimbawa, from one company to another company, so i-carry over yung health insurance mo doon. Okay? Before HIPAA, people could lose their health insurances when they change or lost job. Okay. So HIPAA ensured continuity coverage, allowing individual to carry over health insurance between employer and reducing discrimination based on the pre-existing conditions. Aba, sasabihin na ito may mental health problem to. Paano kung magaling ka naman na? So kailangan bina-background check nila yon. Paano kung okay ka naman na? So hindi ka ma-hire. So kailangan proper and sabi natin na yung information is correct. Yeah, it is security rules, safeguard, administrative, policy, physical facility access, technical encryption, and audit logs. So, dahil nga data siya, so another way to protect is except from the physical protection and yung mismong tao or yung system, yung magbigay ng data, dapat there must be a technological mitigation, which is the encryption and audit logs. Okay, so let's go now yung mga real scenario or violation with HIPAA. So I listed here several. This came from the website mismo ng HIPAA. Yan, HIPAA, regulated entities. So we have the Oregon Health Science University. Ano yung reason bakit sila nagkaroon ng fine? They have failure to provide patient with timely access to their medical record. Pero yung nagreklamo lang naman, isa. So individual impacted, isa. Then, amounting to $200,000. And next is the Warby Parker Incorporated. Multiple HIPAA security rules failure. So, diba, meron tayong rules na dapat sabihin yung dapat na magawa ng compliance, HIP compliance, etc. Di nila yun nagawa. Yung failure to reduce risk to electronic, PHI. Failure to monitor activity in information system containing a electronic PHI. Okay? Yung individual impacted, 198,470. And then, total amount to 1.5 million. Yan. And some other, ito naman, 2025 pa din. So, makita natin na depende sa violation. Ito, failure to conduct compliance risk analysis lang yung fines nila, reason for non-compliance. And ito si comprehensive neurology. Ayan. Guam Memorial Hospital, failure to conduct compliance analysis, Northeast Radiology. So mga health institution. So dapat yung mga record nila ng kanilang mga patient ay compliance. Kaya masasabi nila that they are doing their best to secure the data of their patient or the persons na kinuha na nila ng record. Okay? Ayan. Again, this is still the closest, the DPA or Data Privacy Act 2012. So, protect all personal data, including the health information collected by government and private entities, ethical organization, including hospital, clinic, and insurer to get consent before collecting or sharing health data, use secure system to store and process data, notify individual and National Privacy Commission in case of data breach or kung ninakaw yung physical copy ng data. It is enforced by the National Privacy Commission. So, yung binabanggit natin dito, dahil nga wala naman tayong direktang close sa HIPAA, one reason would be wala tayong meron tayong PhilHealth, pero wala tayong centralized data bank ng lahat ng citizen in case na gusto yun ni access. Kaya halimbawa, kung gusto kong hindi naman tayo, just sa scenario, gusto ko magsinungaling. Like for example, nagpa-check up ako sa isang ospital. Nagsabi ako na may sakit ako. So, nag-avail ako ng PhilHealth. What if next month, punta naman ako sa ibang ibang reason. So, parang there could be an avenue para maloko yung mga health related. So naalala nyo or ako narinig ko sa isang news na so let's say sa SSS, yung marami silang isang tao sa record nila palaging nag-avail ng maternity benefit taon-taon, which is impossible. Pero kung meron kang centralized record ng mga citizen about sa health nila, so mapiprevent natin yung mga ganun. For now, in the Philippines, wala tayong ganun na centralized na pwedeng ma-check. Okay? Especially when availing for health insurance. Okay, as compare, almost similar. So lang dito, for health sector specific, yes. Pero dito, no. For the Philippines, no. Cover all sector. Hindi lang for health. Basta ang sinasabi, you have the right to access your data. You have the right to tell the institution na I don't want my data to be public. I want to correct it. So, yung mga ganong rights ay meron tayo. Ay, for example, ako, personal experience sa iba, nasa hospital kami ng anak ko. Tapos, I'm asking for the doctor for the laboratory records. So, ayaw niyong ibigay. So, sa isip ko lang, no, hindi pwede. You have the right to know what is the laboratory result. You have the right to get the laboratory result. You have the right to not let them use that record for other purpose. So, meron tayong rights na ganyan sa Pilipinas. So, bakit naman anong importance nun? For bakit hindi nila ibibigay for several reasons? Pero tayo as citizen, we have the right. And the institution o yung kung sino man naghahawak ng data natin, they must give us that right. Okay? Okay, let's go now to penalties naman. Yung PCI. So, nabanggit ko rin ito kahapon. Yung PCI is yung payment card. Yan, yung mga mga payment card companies. Please watch the video yesterday para mas malinawan tayo. Yung mga PCI naman, pag non-compliance, ibig sabihin yung mga e-commerce or hindi lang, yung mga gumagamit ng e-commerce, yung electronic payment using card, yan po yung pinoprotektahan naman ni PCI. Okay. Dito, yan naman yung pag-identify niya ng fine. So, halimbawa, may non-compliance ng 1 to 3 months, magbabayad siya ng 10,000 a month. Pag 4 to 6 months, yan, 50,000 maximum a month. Hanggang sa pataas siya ng pataas. The price of non-compliance add up so fast. Okay, so ganun din. So, wala na akong example for the cards companies, but it's the same thing. And there's a violation, you need a fine. So, ito yung paano minimeasure yung fine. Okay, next is the ethical hacking in cybersecurity. I know you already have one subject which is called ethical hacking, so I'll just make it fast. When you say ethical, authorized testing of system to find vulnerabilities. With authorized, you are a blue or white hat. Help prevent attack, ensure resilience, and build trust. Is it legal? Legal versus illegal hacking. So we have legal, we call it the white hat. It's sabihin authorized access, illegal, black, and then the gray is unauthorized but not malicious, still legally risky. So ito combination, kaya nga siya tinawag na gray. So when we consider ethical consideration, so dapat when we are doing ethical hacking, we must respect the confidentiality, operate within the scope, avoid disruption, and obtain legal authorization. So, ano ba, authorized tayo, so white yun, diba? Pero within that white authority, hindi meron tayong ginawang violation na hindi nila authorized, so we became gray. Okay, so here, kahit alam naman na natin kung ano yung ethical hacking, I just listed here some of the companies, top companies that do ethical hacking. So we have Asta Security, and they have 650 engineering team. Provide hacker-style penetration testing and extension vulnerability. So, hindi naman ibig sabihin na pag sinabi mo hacker, ganyan, bad ka na agad. So, in a good way, dun tayo mag-work sa ethical. Okay? So, another company, ayan, HackerOne, specialized in attack resistance management and coordinate vulnerability disclosure. We have the backgrounds and Synac. Synac, ayan, combine AI in human enterprises. Next discussion will have AI in cybersecurity. And then the fifth is the Cobalt, provide a Pinterest as a service platform. So, kung naalala natin yung mga cloud technologies, yan. So, meron tayo Pinterest as a service. Connect businesses with global community to ensure security testing. Okay. Let's go now to the next topic, the last topic. So, yung tinatawag natin na intellectual property and cybersecurity. So, naalala na yung first activity na ginawa natin, yung kung ano yung poprotektahan or in at risk. So yung isa doon ay yung intellectual property, pagmamayari ng company. So importance in cybersecurity. So we must protect software codes, databases, and trade secret. Trade secret yung sa inyo lang, doon kayo kumikita yung trade secret nyo eh. Halimbawa, Windows operating system. O trade secret yun ni Microsoft. So, pag ninakaw yun, so wala na silang kumbaga, that is under the intellectual property. But kinopya yun, o yung mga nasabing crack, yan. So, ngayon naman, di na yan masyadong uso. Meron na naka-implement na mga cybersecurity protection. It is vital for innovation and business protection, yung intellectual property. Okay. Digital right management ang tawag yun. Digital right management. Bakit digital right? Kasi nga intellectual property ng digital property. Digital. Hindi siya bakit? Ito kasi digital to software, code, database. Yung software that is digital form. Okay. And ano yung purpose? Prevent unauthorized use, sharing, or copying of digital content. Software, media, videos, and documents. How it works? The DRM restricts how files can be accessed, viewed, or distributed. For example, PDF files may prevent printing or copying the text. Okay, yan. NDA. Yan, alam ko maganda to at makarelate kayo. When you say NDA, non-disclosure agreement, the purpose is to legally bind the employer, partners, or vendor to confidentiality obligations. Confidentiality obligation. Ikaw, as pumipirma sa NDA, sinasabi mo na hindi ko i-disclose. Okay, how it works, the NDA set legal penalties if the sensitive information is shared with unauthorized parties. Use case, employment, contract, third-party collaboration, startup sharing, business plans. Okay, access control of the intellectual property, its limit, who can modify information based on the rules and necessities. So, ano dapat ang pag-set ng access control? First, we have the role-based, disprivilege, and multi-factor. Dahil nga kinokontrol natin yung pag-access sa intellectual property, so kailangan natin na the one which has a specific role in the job can only the one can access, not everyone. Least privilege, the better. Kung sino lang, least, pinaka-konting privilege ng pag-access ng data, pag-read, or pag-edit. Next is multi-factor, add security layer before granting an access. Okay, how are we going to monitor and audit the intellectual property? So, bakit kailangan i-monitor? To continuously observe system and use and detect anomalies or breaches. How it works? Titingnan yung logs. Titingnan kung may intrusion detection system. Diba? Na-discuss na natin. When you say IDS, alarm. May alarm lang siya. Nagpapakita, okay, may kumuha. Wala tayong magagawa, di natin prevent yun. Next is the behavioral analytics and SIMS. Yan, discuss na rin natin security information event management tools. So, para maprotektahan yung mga IP, kailangan may SIM. Okay? Yan, ano yung mga type? Yan na yan. So, per privacy, trade secret, tip, counterfeiting, pangungopia, pang-counterfeit, bawa design ng damit, nakasave sa isang file, tapos nakita, kinopia, yan, ginawa nila. Yan. Mitigation, kailangan i-implement yung ito, NDA and dapat may data right management, digital right management. And then, control and monitoring. Yan. Okay, to sum it up, yan. Yung GDPR is privacy law, HIPAA is healthcare data, PCI DSS is the payment data security. This all encourage strong cybersecurity practice. And for the Philippines, sinabi ko na it's just the Data Protection Act. Okay? So, developing security governance practices includes mga policies, incident response, training, and auditing. Align IT with business and ensure compliance. So, ibig sabihin, when we think of it na IT tayo, mga IT people, lahat ng industry ngayon, merong IT. At least meron dyang isa dapat. Kung tayo nga sa offices, or maybe on the other hand, integrating IT to several courses kasi ganun na talaga yung trend eh. That's why I congratulate you for choosing IT kasi alam nyo na hindi kayo nalalaos sa trend. Okay. Because IT will continue to be parts of every business. And making sure that they will be compliant to security, IT security. Okay, as conclusion, cybersecurity requires legal awareness, ethical practice, IP protection, and strong governance. It is a multidisciplinary responsibility.